Hi, I'm Anna. Have you ever gotten lost in a new city? It's a bit scary at first, but sometimes getting lost is exactly what you need. Let me tell you about the day I got lost in Brisbane. It was my first time traveling alone for work. I had flown from Sydney to Brisbane for a small conference, and even though I felt a bit nervous, I was excited for this new adventure. The event was at a nice hotel in the city, but I didn't need to be there until the next day. That meant I had a whole afternoon just for myself, to explore, to relax, and to make some memories. After landing at the airport, I collected my suitcase from the baggage carousel and walked outside. The air in Brisbane felt warmer than Sydney, gentler somehow. I took a taxi to my hotel, checked in at the reception desk, and found my room. It was simple, clean, and quiet. I dropped off my bag, took a moment to breathe, and told myself, "Okay, Anna, let's go explore the city." I didn't make any plan, no map, no app, just me, my small handbag, and my curiosity. I thought, this is my chance. Why not be a little brave? At first, everything was perfect. Just outside the hotel, I found a lovely little cafe with big windows and plants everywhere. I ordered an iced coffee and smiled at the barista behind the counter. She had a friendly face and a bright, welcoming voice. She asked, "You here for business or holiday?" I smiled and said, "Both, hopefully." She laughed and replied, "Well, welcome to Brissy." That made me feel at home right away. I sipped my coffee slowly, watching people walk by on the street. Some were in suits, rushing to meetings. Others were in shorts and sandals, just enjoying the day. There were families, couples, people walking dogs, and even a group of teenagers laughing at something on their phones. Everything felt alive and new. After finishing my coffee, I walked down the street, just following whatever looked interesting. I wandered past markets filled with fresh fruit, flowers, and handmade crafts. I saw parks with green grass and little children running around. I walked down small streets lined with colorful buildings and cozy shops. The city felt different from Sydney, more relaxed, with a slower pace and a warmer feeling in the air. I felt happy and free. But after about an hour of walking, I stopped. I looked around and realized I didn't recognize anything. There were no familiar shops, no landmarks I remembered from before. I checked my phone, hoping to use the map, but my battery was only at 10%. Of course, I had forgotten to bring my power bank. For a moment, I stood still, listening to the sounds of the city, the cars, the people, the distant music from a street performer. I tried to remember which way I had come, but everything looked different now. I thought, "Okay, Anna, don't panic. You can figure this out." I tried to retrace my steps. Was it left? Or maybe I had come from the right. Perhaps it was straight ahead. I walked for about 15 minutes, hoping to see something familiar, but every street looked new. My phone battery dropped to 5%. I started to feel a little panicked. What if my phone died completely? What if I really couldn't find my way back? I stopped at a street corner and took a deep breath. "Okay, don't freak out," I told myself. "Just ask for help." I looked around and saw a woman with a stroller walking slowly nearby. She looked kind and calm. I walked over to her and smiled, trying to sound confident. "Hi, I'm sorry. Can I ask you something? I think I'm lost." She smiled back, and her voice was gentle. "Of course. Where are you trying to go?" I showed her the name of my hotel on my phone. She looked at it, then at me, and said, "Oh, you're not far. Just walk back 2 blocks, turn left, and then you'll see it. Easy." I thanked her, maybe 5 times. She laughed and said, "Happens to all of us. Enjoy the city." I felt so grateful. Sometimes a little kindness from a stranger is all you need. Feeling much better, I walked back the way she had told me. Soon, I recognized the cafe from before. I walked past the same market stalls, and finally, I saw the sign for my hotel. I went inside, smiling to myself. When I reached my room, I let out a big breath. I was a little sweaty, a little tired, and my phone battery was down to just 2%. But I was proud. I had gotten lost. I had asked for help. I had used English, not just the English I learned from books, but real English, in a real moment, with a real person. It was scary at first, but I had done it. That night, after a shower and a quick dinner, I sat by the window in my hotel room and looked at a map of the city. I laughed when I realized that I had only been about 5 minutes away from my hotel the whole time, but getting lost had helped me see more of Brisbane, talk to new people, and learn more about myself. I realized that sometimes the best way to find something new is to first get lost. Getting lost in a new city isn't just about directions or maps. It's about discovery. When you don't know exactly where you are, you start to notice the small things: the color of the buildings, the sound of the language, the feeling of the air on your skin. You pay attention, you're present, and sometimes you find something wonderful. During my walk, I noticed so many little details I wouldn't have seen if I had just followed a plan. I saw a mural painted on the side of a building, bright and colorful, telling the story of the city. I smelled fresh bread from a bakery and watched as a baker placed warm loaves on a wooden shelf. I heard a group of students practicing music in the park, their laughter mixing with the notes of their song. And of course, I used my English in a real situation. In school, we often practice dialogues, read textbooks, and listen to recordings. But in real life, things are different. You have to think quickly, listen carefully, and sometimes be brave enough to ask a stranger for help. That day, I learned that my English was good enough to get me where I needed to go, and that gave me so much confidence. The next day, at the conference, I felt different. I was more relaxed, more open. I talked with people from different countries, shared stories, and even told a few of them about my little adventure. Everyone laughed and said, "That's how you really get to know a city." And they were right. Looking back, I'm glad I didn't make a perfect plan. I'm glad I let myself wander and get a little lost. Because sometimes the best adventures happen when you don't know exactly where you'll end up. Now, whenever I travel to a new place, I try to remember that feeling. I remind myself that it's okay to be a little unsure, a little lost, because that's when you find the most interesting things and maybe even learn something new about yourself. So, if you ever find yourself in a new city, don't be afraid to put away the map for a little while. Take a walk, notice the world around you, and if you get lost, remember, it's all part of the adventure. Have you ever gotten lost in a new city? What happened? I'd love to hear your story. Share your experience in the comments below. It's a great way to practice your English and connect with other people from around the world. And remember, every time you use English in real life, you're getting better and more confident. If you learned something from my story today, give it a like. And if you want more daily English listening stories with subtitles, don't forget to subscribe. Every story is a new way to explore the world with English. Thank you for listening, and happy exploring wherever you are.